Wait, free parking downtown slow? Just park in the new structure at Napomo and Palm. And dine at La Esquina, Mama's Meatball or Mistura. And get 2 hours of validated parking. Free parking downtown slow. Park, eat, validate, done. Learn more at slowfreeparking.com.
You're Up and Adam.
Tractor systems are offline.
We are Beyond FM.
Beyond FM.
The future of broadcasting is here.
Is here.
Up and Adam with Adam Montiel. It's community content from Concentrate. It's Up and Adam with Adam Montiel.
Some say life is where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Yes, some say life is just where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Only to start again.
Thursday, it is on. Thank you so much for being Up and Adam. My name is Adam Montiel. We had a fun show yesterday. Those farmers, open farm days, don't forget, happening this weekend. Kicking off tomorrow, everything is completely free. Tomorrow, the farmers are coming to you. They're going to the square in Paso, downtown City Park. Check that out. Any and all info, farmsteaded.com. What a blast that was yesterday. That was really fun. And then, of course, Saturday and Sunday, like we talked about, they're rolling back the curtains, opening the gates, baby. It is on. All right, today, getting laid off 3 months into a dream job could have been the end of the story for my gal, Mandi Woodruff-Santos. It became the beginning. Today, she's one of the most respected voices in personal finance, co-host of the wildly successful Brown Ambition podcast, former financial journalist at Business Insider and Yahoo Finance, and someone who's helped thousands of people rethink what wealth actually means. But her path there wasn't built on privilege, safety nets, or even perfect timing. It started with a promise she made to herself during one long summer of unemployment in New York City. And what she shares with us, it might surprise you. We talk about money, shame, anxiety, motherhood, building wealth while juggling real life. Sometimes the biggest financial lessons, they have nothing to do with spreadsheets. In fact, by the end of our chat, Mandi offered a definition of wealth that has absolutely nothing to do with a dollar amount and everything to do with freedom. If you've ever wondered whether you're behind financially, if success is worth the sacrifice, or what being truly rich actually feels like, stick around. Conversation you're definitely going to want to hear. Before that, I got a couple headlines here. Some weird stories, some interesting, some local. After years of complaints, close calls, and people basically playing real life Frogger just outside the Lobro in San Luis Obispo, there's a new traffic signal coming to South Street and King Court. Will this still be considered the Lobro? I think it might be. The city council this week approved the project, which will add a full signalized intersection, the whole stoplight and everything. And you look at this intersection, you're like, do we really need a stoplight? Well, apparently residents came up and said, yeah, we want one, which is hard to believe. Because if you drive that street, if you drive South Street between, say, Higuera and Broad, it's not the quickest street already, but I guess, there's people trying to cross King Street, and then they put in that little thing where you push the button and it lights up the ground. And I guess pedestrians are like, hey, these cars, they're not stopping. I've seen people stop there a lot. I live not far from there. So it's like, I feel like I'm at this intersection a couple times a day. So neighbors, they've been pushing for improvements for a while, citing a traffic volume, limited visibility, concerns about pedestrian safety. The new signal expected to help people cross, more safely, but also reduce conflicts between vehicles, bring a little bit more order into an intersection that can feel like every driver is just kind of freestyling. You never know. And then sometimes you'll see the lights lighting up in the street. You slow down, you're like, wait a minute, there's nobody here. Of course, some residents have also worried about possible traffic backups. Well, they say if you put a intersection and signals here, people are just going to use the side streets in the neighborhoods to navigate around them. Well, who knows? For now, the city is moving forward. So if you are a pedestrian, you ever sat on South Street and King waiting for an opening that felt less like a traffic gap and more like a message from the universe, help is on the way. Well, another local story, one of San Luis Obispo's most unique hangout spots, and I do love this place. I love going there. They are hitting the pause button for a minute. The Bunker, slow, part art gallery, part coffee house, part community living room, is closing for about a month or so for a major renovation. Owner Missy Reitner Cameron says the goal is to create more of a third space, that place between home and work where people feel like they can actually hang out, talk to one another, play games, make art, maybe remember what life is like before everyone started staring at a screen all day. The project includes a new outdoor patio filled with local art, more lounge seating, and a big expansion of the Underground's cafe. And there's also a big change brewing. Nautical Bean, which has been serving coffee inside the Bunker, is now moving to its new location near Trader Joe's, I think where Starbucks used to be. The Bunker is going to be taking over that kitchen. So when it reopens, expect coffee from Deltina Coffee Roasters, teas from Secrets of the Garden, house-made pastries, and during events, beer, wine, pizza. Pretty cool. The Bunker's final event before the temporary closure is a comedy show on June 25th. Then it goes into what Missy is calling a creative cocoon. We're looking forward to seeing this new butterfly for sure. And finally, north of the Great Paso, officially getting one step closer to becoming a spaceport. Yeah, spaceport. The same town known for wine tasting, almond blossoms, and people arguing about which tri-tip joint is best could be launching spacecraft at some time. This week, the city announced it's looking for expert consultants to help secure a Federal Aviation Administration license for a commercial spaceport at the Paso Municipal Airport. Now, before you start looking for Elon Musk at Firestone Walker, this doesn't really mean rockets are going to be taking off tomorrow. The city is kind of in this early in the process phase and needs years of technical, safety, environmental, even federal review before anything could actually officially launch. But city leaders say Paso has some big advantages. It's close to Silicon Valley, close to Vandenberg Space Force Base, and about 1,300 acres of airport property available for future development. Not bad. Supporters also say the project could create higher paying tech jobs and even help connect local students from K through 12, Cuesta College, Cal Poly, to maybe careers in aerospace and advanced manufacturing. Next step, hiring this consultant team to help navigate the FAA license process. So for now, Paso will definitely still be known for wine, but at one point, who knows? And for the purposes of this story, a spaceport is basically an airport for spacecraft. But the Paso version isn't expected to look like Cape Canaveral with giant vertical rockets blasting off. This city is pursuing a horizontal spaceport, which means space vehicles would take off and land on a runway like a plane. Good for Paso. All right, before we get into our chat with Mandi Woodruff-Santos, quick PSA for anyone who still says, I don't go downtown because the parking sucks. Well, cool, but we fixed it. Yeah, check out slowfreeparking.com. You'll see what we mean. Park in the new Cultural Arts District parking structure, that new one, Napomo and Palm, and then head into my friends at La Esquina, Mama's Meatball, Mistura, and they will validate your parking for 2 hours for free. That's right, free parking downtown Slow. Park, eat, validate, done. Get the full details, slowfreeparking.com, and you can also make links. Link up to my friends at La Esquina, Mama's Meatball, and Mistura.
It's Up and Adam with Adam Montiel.
All right, my next guest took one of the worst moments of her professional life and turned it into a mission that's helped thousands of people rewrite their financial stories. After being laid off just months into a new dream job in New York City, she decided she never wanted to feel financially vulnerable again. That journey led her to become one of the most trusted voices in personal finance, with stops at Business Insider, Yahoo Finance, and co-founding the incredibly popular Brown Ambition podcast, along Tiffany the Budgetnista Alicia. But what I loved about Mandi Woodruff-Santos is that she doesn't just talk about money. She talks about the stories that we attach to it, the shame we carry around it, and the freedom we're really chasing through it. And as you're about to hear, her definition of wealth today might be very different than you'd expect. Mandi, excited to have you. Thank you so much for being Up and Adam.
Hi, Adam. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you? How's your day going?
It's going pretty well. It's been a fun little radio tour.
Yeah, where am I? Am I towards the end of it?
you're the last one. And where are you? San Luis Obispo?
Yeah, San Luis Obispo is really right in the middle of San Francisco and Los Angeles. We're kind of in that wine country by the ocean, the mountains.
The nice part.
Yeah, right. Pismo Beach, San Luis Obispo, the Madonna Inn, Paso, Robles, wine country, that kind of area.
Beautiful.
Yeah, what about you?
I'm in New York. I'm in Westchester.
Nice. Well, this is the last one. So you could just feel like, you did it. How many did you do? Did you do a bunch of these or what?
I don't know, like 6?
Cool. Good for you.
Oh,
now,
thanks.
You've said that after getting laid off just a few months into a magazine job, you made a vow, a personal contract to never feel financially vulnerable again. And that moment didn't just pivot your career, kind of reroutes your whole mission. What did that vow sound like in your head? And not really in financial terms, but in like human terms. This is the way it's got to be.
Well, listen, I mean, I think like many women of color, people of color, I did not come from a family that had a lot of, I mean, they did what they could. I had a, lower middle class upbringing. Like we had food on the table. I went through college. Like my parents did the best that they could, but there was not a lot of cushion for me to screw up, there wasn't a lot of cushion for me if my job, my career didn't take off. There wasn't anyone who could pay my rent, even a few, the $800 that it was at the time, sharing a 2-bedroom with 3 girls in Queens. And so for me, it was really I kind of knew it my whole life that it would be about me supporting myself. And I just didn't expect to be tested so early in my career. But it was a blessing in the sense that it reinvigorated my vow to not just get by, but to seek out financial education that I had never been taught. And I found the greatest cheat code ever, which was to become a personal finance journalist and literally just, get paid, not very much, but get paid decent and get to talk to experts every day. And kind of, I got an unofficial master's in finance just through doing my job. And it was earning me an income, but it was also teaching me lessons that I could implement and create that financial independence for myself that I need.
That is so cool. And I feel you, because there wasn't a lot of models that I saw growing up that instilled my dad had hustle, had so many things, but like strong financial kind of outlines. I certainly struggle with even now, in getting, like, you were able to do what we love, but what I love the way you turned with this passion into something that, like you said, you got like this unofficial master's at it. And then so you launched Brown Ambition with Tiffany, 2 voices, 2 stories, but really one mission. And you kind of do this way before the world started even talking about equity and representation, especially in money media. What made you both say, we need to build this, and man, we need to build this now?
Well, I was at Yahoo Finance, and I only ever was supposed to be a writer. My talking to people, not my strong suit, being on camera, not my strong suit, deeply introverted, extreme social anxiety. But the industry was going that direction and I had to go with it, or if I wanted to survive. And I pushed myself to, do video content at Yahoo. And then I was learning about podcasting, and I thought that was a new opportunity for growth. And I decided to launch my own podcast just as a creative outlet as well. I could only ever write whatever my editors told me was okay to write, even though I'd pitch my own ideas, they could veto them. But with my own platform, my own creative outlet, it was really like a free for all. And me and Tiffany, I chose Tiffany to be my co-host. I kind of she didn't know it, but she was the only one I ever wanted. She and I, this is Tiffany, the budgetnista. She's at the time was just building her career as a personal finance educator. And I met her at a conference and I just knew this is the girl. This is my sister. I want to talk to her about money. Our conversations were always fun. And, they really felt like the types of conversations women of color are having about our finances over a glass of wine. And so that was what we wanted to, the approach to Brown Ambition was create a platform and community that really centers us in it in a way that definitely the newsrooms I was working in did not. And definitely the traditional personal finance mainstream space wasn't centering voices of color and So yeah, just, greed and selfishness. I just really wanted us to be at the center of it. And I'm so glad that I did.
Money shame is real. People don't just carry the debt, they carry the stories, the family history, even trauma. But you've made space for real healing in a space that used to feel cold and kind of clinical. What's one money lie, Mandi, that took you the longest to unlearn? And what do you replace it with?
Oh, gosh. There's many. I think the one that's surprising that I've had to unlearn a couple of times now, I was like, wasn't I done with this? It's the need to stack achievements, financial accomplishments to be worthy of success, love, care, nurturing. And I put a ton of pressure on myself, especially in this new version of this new chapter of my life where I'm not 26 year like I was when I started the podcast. I'm in my late 30s. I have 2 children. I have a couple of businesses and a partner, and I'm trying to survive, in a really tough time. And when you hit those bumps in the road because I put so much pressure on myself, you start to wonder, well, shit. I mean, sorry. Well, shoot.
You're fine.
Am I? We're taped.
You're good. No, we're on a podcast. The
Radio.
FCC has nothing to do with us.
Oh, good. Yeah. So you hit those bumps in the road, and I had to unlearn again, not to tie up those mistakes with my worth, my personal worth, because that is just a recipe for depression, anxiety, and all the bad things. And, just we don't deserve the amount of criticism that we put on ourselves. And yet so many of us are so critical. And I've just had to learn how to baby myself again and just take care of myself and pour into myself and tell myself I do deserve. And it doesn't sound, super intuitive that would lead to financial success. But I'll tell you, like, just taking care of my sleep and with my anxiety and depression and getting the help that I need and talking about it more like I have on the podcast, it's created more mental space in my brain and taken away that shame that was sort of keeping me stuck. And it's made me show up to work with more enthusiasm and talk to, business partners with more. And so bring my best self. And it all stemmed from just taking care of myself and being kind.
Yeah. What are some things that 30s, especially maybe 40s, that people should be keeping in mind if they haven't had the sharpest tools before with regards to their finances? What should they be keeping in mind right now?
Oh, it's so tough. I mean, our finances are so complicated. And, I don't think it's any surprise that we're supposed to reach our peak earning years in our early 40s, right? I think for women, it's like, I forget the ages, but early 40s for men and women. But we're also reaching our peak earning years at the years where it's also like peak hands on our money, like peak, household expenses. If you're having children, that's dipping into your money. So it feels like, wait, I'm earning more than ever, but like, why do I feel so broke? And I think my advice for people in our, like in middle age is to get a financial planner and get someone to reassess your finances and make sure that you're not trying to do it alone, because it is so overwhelming. And a good, solid fee-only financial planner who can sit down with you and your partner and get a handle on your household finances, and then be that conduit to sort of, bounce ideas off of, to keep conversations transparent. One thing that happens when we start to feel financially stressed is we can we can go inward. We can stop talking about it with our spouses, and no one really knows what's going on. Not that I'm speaking from experience at all.
I totally get you.
And then it's like, well, what? We have how much credit card debt? And what did you say we were going to do? And, we have to have like that mediator in the middle. So yeah, I think getting some support there, and it doesn't have to be extremely expensive. You can go to the National Association of Personal Financial Planners and find a fee-based, fee-only planner, which just means you're going to pay them a flat rate. They're not going to take a percentage of your investments and whatnot. And yeah, just get a meeting on the calendar once a month or so, once a quarter to hash it out with them.
Gold right there. That's so smart. There's a kind of money that doesn't just buy peace of mind. It tells you you've made it through that, whether it's your first emergency fund or maybe your first investment, that dollar feels different. What's the moment where maybe you looked at your bank account, not for the number, but what for it meant emotionally and thought, damn, I am really doing this?
Well, it had to be in 2021. I actually went through a pretty traumatic career upset. And for someone who, was like moving and grooving, I was very successful in my career. Then I had like a bad experience in corporate. And I remember meeting with my financial planner and kind of saying, okay, what am I going to do next? And she was the one who was like, Mandi, you've made some really smart choices. Financially, you are at a position where you can do whatever you want for a while. And I felt like such a baddie. I felt so proud. And I felt so proud of that 22-year-old who lost her job and said, no, I don't want to have to rely on one employer for my financial, survival. And I want to do things differently. And I was like, girl, we did it. You made those choices, and yeah, you had this bad corporate experience, but it doesn't have to derail your whole life. And that's what enabled me to go all in with Brown Ambition and to start my career coaching practice. And it's all because of those, those choices I made in my early 20s to gain that kind of financial knowledge. So that was a really proud moment for me.
Get you that rich auntie energy.
Yeah, exactly.
You made a whole career out of teaching people what wealth isn't. So let's flip it and strip it all the way down. What is wealth to you?
Oh man. These days, to be honest, wealth is after I hang up the phone with you is I'm going to go plug in my CPAP machine and take a luxurious nap and really pour some energy back into myself, because I know I'm an introvert and talking takes a lot out of me. And that I can do that I have the freedom to make my schedule, and that I can go get my son off the bus and be there for him at 3:00. And we're going to watch some Danny go and, play and do his homework. And I can get back to my work when I want to and build my own schedule and be a present mother, a present partner, a daughter and neighbor, and still be able to take care of my family financially. And I'm very proud of that. And that feels wealthy. And that's a different answer than I probably would have given you even 6 months ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
but sleep, man, sleep is rich.
And you must
8 hours makes anyone feel rich.
Good for you. Well, good. Well, Michael exchange emails. I've really enjoyed the chat with you. Thanks a lot for the time. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Adam. Nice to meet you.
Some say life is where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Only to start again.
All right, you want to learn more about Mandi Woodruff-Santos? Follow her work. Maybe check out the Brown Ambition podcast. All the links waiting for you in the show notes. Mandi, thanks again for spending some time with us. Really enjoyed our chat. Thanks for being here. All right. I want to tell you about my friends at the Mountain Air, downtown San Luis Obispo. They're right there on Marsh. Been doing their thing since 1975. It's over 50 years for retail in San Luis Obispo. And what I love, their MO, it's not transactional. It's friendly. It's neighborly. Josh and Lindsay Herring, great people, an adorable couple, beautiful family, and they're just doing their thing right here and doing it locally. And if you got something you need to go and they'll match prices with REI. They're staying as competitive as absolutely humanly possible. But what you get from them that you don't get from a big chain store is that local feel, that being seen when you walk in the door and not just being lost into some big like airplane hangar you walked into. Check out also a couple doors down there, sister shop, The Switchback, where you can buy and sell used gear. Great stuff. You want going to camping, you want to rent a Yeti cooler, or you want to get a sleeping pad, or maybe you want a new Patagonia vest. Go and check out my friends at themountaineer.com and the Mountain Air on Marsh Street, San Luis Obispo. All right, also want to tell you about my friends at Benny's Pizza. We love Benny's Pizza. Upper Monterey, 1601 Monterey Street. Get in there for lunch. You can get in and out, back to work quick. A slice, and they're big. You'll probably end up taking some back to the office. A salad, a Coke, super reasonable. Happy hour too, Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 6:30. I tried that one that they got the sun-dried tomatoes and the chicken pesto. I normally never get anything but red sauce on my pizza, and this was good. Man, this stuff is good. Their lasagna is incredible. Benny's Pizza. You know what we're talking about. The thick crust, crispy pan-fried goodness, Detroit style, sauce on top, on bottom. It don't even matter. Benny's Pizza. Check them out and thank them when you do for supporting and being Up and Adam. All right, our thanks again to Mandi Woodruff-Santos for being here. Our thanks to Moonshiner Collective for being original music on this show called Start Again. Stream them wherever you get your music. Also, moonshinercollective.com. This show recorded at SloCal Studios in the heart of San Luis Obispo County, California. SloCal, where the wine is world class, the people are real, and life is too beautiful to rush. Returns well taken. Visit slocal.com. That's SLOCAL, slocal.com. Till tomorrow, where it will be Friday. Till then, I'm Adam Montiel. Thanks again for being Up and Adam.
We'll start again. Let's start